episode of the Books Fix podcast, a podcast that fixes lives one book at a time. I'm your host, Yajaira.
And I'm your host, Cheli. And this episode is brought to you by more book talk drama because that shit never stops.
Oh my God. Seriously, how is it possible that there's always drama? I mean, I feel like I'm very behind, but when I see glimpses of it, I'm like, damn, I'm really behind.
I know at this point, I don't think Amivi can catch up. I don't even think she's doing it anymore, but honestly, It's too overwhelming. Too much.
Yeah.
The term can be used very loosely too. I don't know what you would call drama, but apparently for book talk, it's this. So I want to talk about the drama involving Nate Lemke, Lemcke. He's an author himself, and he's currently getting a lot of hate because according to his second video, and we'll talk about his first one in a bit, he basically challenged himself to read more female author books because he was only reading books written by male authors. And he realized his mistake and decided to correct it. And he got a lot of hate for this.
Okay.
So initially, only knowing that, I'm like, all right, I don't see the issue. You know what I mean?
But I feel like there's probably more to this, huh?
Well, okay. I get where he's coming from. But what I didn't know was that apparently he was, he decided to read female author books, and it's kind of what other people have said. It's as if he's exploiting women to like read his book, while in his book, he's writing about a man who is abusing women.
What the fuck? Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Wait, what has he written? Let me see.
I don't know, actually. Hold on. We got to search the World Wide Web.
It's called Manic Pixie E-Girl. That's the first one that came up.
An E-Girl? Hold on. I'm interested. Does it have a summary?
Yes. Hold on. Let me contact my sources. Hold on.
Okay. Mr. President.
Mr. President, are you there? It just says Manic Pixie E-Girl follows the downward spiral / dark night of the soul of Alden Goodnight as he becomes hopelessly obsessed with Abby Cadabra, the cam girl turned cult leader who lives in the apartment above him. Okay.
So like stalker-ish, right?
Yeah, like stalker vibes, I guess.
It's so weird because like I'm under the idea that people should be allowed to write what they want. But sometimes some things are so triggering that I like take a step back. Like
yeah, definitely.
It seems like too much for me. And I can understand why people are getting frustrated with him. For someone who is like trying to garner an audience of women, but you're writing about a man who's stalking women, it like comes off a little weird. But I don't know. Personally, I don't think he had any ill intent with wanting to read books written by women.
For me, it's a little weird that you're only reading male authors. But then again, I feel like most of the time I just happen to be reading women authors, but
well, remember, like to me, that's even with us, it's not as if our intention is to not read certain authors, but with the way the media works, they only sometimes advertise certain books by certain authors, which sucks because there's a lot of authors that are good that aren't getting advertised, you know?
Yeah. Well, I do want to say that this book has a 2.5 rating, the E-Girl one, on Amazon, and it has a 2.3 rating on Goodreads. So,
well, the only thing that really bothered me, like the biggest thing that bothered me, is when an author is getting canceled. It's kind of weird to me that the first thing people do to cancel an author is to give their books very low ratings in order to like push it, even though you've never read it. Like that's so, I don't know. Like it's weird how far this culture has gone to make someone regret what they've done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know anything about him, so I don't know if he actually meant well or not. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know anything about him either. So
I don't really like it either when people will go and review really poorly just to hurt someone if you haven't tried the product or if you haven't read the book or whatever. But at the same time, it's just like, I mean, if it's a good book, don't worry. Like, other people will read it and be like, I don't know how to describe it. But to me, it's like, eventually it'll outweigh it if it's a good book. But from the description, I don't think it's a good book. That's just my guess. But I'm not going to rate it unless I read it.
Exactly. Do you think you would have the same views on this if this were to happen to you? Like, if you had made a claim that, let's say, people misunderstood. And I'm not saying that he's great, that this, he's not to blame. I don't know him. But if you had made a claim and people misunderstood it, took it the wrong way, and started rating your book a 1 star without reading it and leaving reviews like, hey, you suck, how would you feel then?
I feel like it would definitely suck. I think it's hard not to feel like personally attacked, especially if you haven't even actually read the book. But I don't know. It's kind of hard to say because I'm not there. But if it ever happened, obviously, I think it would definitely break my heart. I hope it doesn't happen. But if it does, I think I would be kind of like, well, of course this would happen, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
It would happen because, of course, people would react this way. Even like, I don't want to get into politics, but like people who don't agree with us politically, like they could watch this and then be like, you know what? I'm going to give them a 1 star because I don't like that they support women's rights or whatever the fuck, I don't know.
Yeah. No,
any
there are people
group,
like that.
Any group could just attack us or attack anybody for no reason.
Mm-hmm. I hope he's not an asshole. Like, I hope that his writing doesn't reflect his personality. I don't know. It's just because we're in spooky season and you and I are reading horror books and we're getting into like this type of horror with like, not considering today's, but like stalking with sexual disgustingness and all of that. Mm-hmm. It kind of like makes you, I don't know if you had to do this, but reading spooky books always makes me have to take a step back. So I kind of like close the book and I'm like, okay, I'm good. Like, this shit ain't happening.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because it's a lot.
Yeah, I
sometimes.
definitely agree. Yeah, I agree. It's just in the season right now. I feel unsettled every day. It was funny because yesterday I was with my boyfriend and we were kind of laying there and I was like, damn, I'm really sad right now. He was like, why? I'm like, I think it's all these books I'm reading. I'm just really sad. I can't wait to get back to romance. I'm so sad.
Dude, I felt the exact same way yesterday. And we added a book that I've read before onto our list. And I'm like, I'm going to save that one for last to like, give me balance. The strength I need to move on.
Yeah, seriously.
No, yeah, I feel the same way. Because I was like, I thought we were reading spooky books. I'm over here like fucking crying.
I know, literally. What the fuck? I'm over here really reading psychological thrillers. I don't know what we signed up for.
Oh my gosh. Well, why don't you tell us what we're reading today?
So today we're talking about the book titled The Haar by David Sodergren. I did write a short summary for it. So I'm going to give the short summary and then afterwards we're going to hella spoil. So if it sounds interesting, go read it and then come back. So Muriel Margaret Macaulay is a widow. She's 84 years young, living in a coastal town in Scotland. When a rich billionaire named Patrick Grant threatens to disrupt her peace by taking away her home because he has his eyes set on this coastal town, he just thinks it would be like the perfect spot for his golf course, like he doesn't have enough. The Haar is a freezing fog that lingered offshore, and Muriel quickly learns that she isn't as alone as she thought she was.
Queen, slay. So if you want to read a would you consider this a thriller, gore, romance?
Literally, that's what I told my boyfriend. I was like, you know what? This is kind of like a monster romance, which I know is right up your alley.
If you're interested in any of those 3 things, mostly the last one, I suggest you go read this book. But
mostly the monster romance.
Yajaira and I, it's so funny. We don't tell each other how we feel about the books we read. And I think we did a pretty good job not talking about it. Not only because we just read them yesterday, but because, we're queens. But
we literally read this yesterday. Not together, separate.
But like our souls were together and I really felt it. And knowing you.
Knowing me.
I think that you and I are going to have a really interesting conversation today.
Oh,
but I don't think you are going to give this higher than like a 2.5.
Okay. And I have the exact opposite feeling for you. I don't know if you're going to give it, I don't think you would give it a 5 because it's too, I don't know if you really like gore, but I think you would give it like a 4 or a 4.2, like around there,
Okay.
like a high 4 is what I want to say.
It's just so funny, dude, because I will let you know that looking at the cover, it made me feel uncomfortable. And I want to describe this cover to our audio listeners. It's basically like a goo man. He looks like you can see like the veins. You can see this boy's whole circulatory system work. And then like he has his mouth open and there's
but no heart though. What the fuck? There's no heart though.
Hey, but trust me, it's in there.
No, it's literally not.
And then he has an eyeball in his mouth. And dude, I hate it. It makes me feel uncomfortable. This is the type of thing that if I was a little kid, maybe like last week ago, if I went to the store and saw this, I would not want to be near it. Like, it's one of those things that's like, oh, I know it's going to make me feel uncomfortable. So I would walk away from it. Not the type of book that I thought I would pick up.
And love.
But
just say it.
But I do kind of like the vibe it gives. It kind of reminds me of the movie The Thing. Have you ever watched that?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. It apparently is compared to The Thing a lot. So while we're talking about the book, I'll go ahead. I'm going to write it in my notes right now. I will bring up The Thing during. Why don't we start off with the beginning of our story with our good old bad bitch Muriel?
Okay.
Like you said, Muriel is 84 years young and working it. And she's living in this town called, is it Witch Haven?
Yes.
So this town is very, very special to her. And it's weird because like the way that she describes just the vibe of this town is like everyone knows each other. Back then, it used to be like a very close-knit 55 people. And this town was all fishermen. So it was like a very peaceful, you don't hear the noise of like busy towns or busy cities. And she was living with her husband, Billy, and she loved it. But it's weird because the first thing that this story starts with, the first sentence, is Muriel Margaret McCaley was 84 years old the first time she saw a man turned inside out by a sea monster. And then it's just like, oh shit, Muriel.
Yeah.
Witch Haven kind of wild.
It also says like, oh, but that's not like the craziest thing she's seen. You know, like
I know.
This girl has seen some crazy shit.
You
and
think
like,
that
damn,
shit's
Muriel.
crazy? Oh, you weren't here last Wednesday. Last Wednesday was crazy. No, but it talks about like another, like, because it says, oh yeah, that's not the craziest. There was literally a moment where there was a boat and it like capsized, I think. And everyone on there was torn apart. So there were pieces of like the bodies that were on there just like coming to the shore.
So she literally had to grab her wheelbarrow and like put these like body parts on there so that they could be identified. Which
My
is
9 to 5, am I
insane.
right?
It's not her 9 to 5, it's her husband's. Her husband was a fisherman.
No,
she
but
was like always scared of the ocean.
Yeah, which you live in Witch Haven. There's oceans all around you. Sorry, Muriel. You gotta get used to it. But yeah, she never really goes into the water, but she loves where she lives. And I really like the setting that they gave us, just like the idea of all of these viejitos, all of these old people just being family, you know? In present time though, she is living alone now. and her husband has passed away 12 years prior.
Yeah. And so she gets visited by a woman, and she doesn't know this woman's name yet. We don't find out until the end. And honestly, I don't even remember her name. But this woman is trying to tell her, like, hey, this billionaire, not millionaire, billionaire, Patrick Grant is trying to, you know, buy your little home, your little area. And I forgot how much money she said that she would be getting, but Muriel did not care. Like, she didn't care how much she could have said. She was like, no, this is my home. This is like, it's special to her because this is where she lived with her husband. And I think her husband, they never found the body, right? Like, he just kind of like went out to sea and never came back. But
Only his
everyone
boat came
just
back.
kind of, yeah, oh yeah. So everyone just kind of like thinks that he's dead. And so she's over here like, nope, nothing can get me out of this house. And like Cheli said, in this fishing town, there used to be like 54 people or so. But then they have like a town meeting. And it turns out there's only like 5 or 8 of them left.
Yep.
Like the rest of them have just taken the money and gone somewhere else. And it's kind of sad because obviously, you know, Muriel is one of the older ones. So she's 84, and there's other people there who are like in their 50s or so. So they still have like, I guess, I don't know how to describe it, but they still have like the idea in their mind that, okay, this isn't my forever home. I could make a home somewhere else. And Patrick Grant is obviously trying to fucking like ruin these families because he has people there at certain hours of the day who are just working on construction, and it's really loud. And, you know, these people are older. So of course it's going to distract them or disrupt them. And so,
or make them want to leave. Cause it's like,
yeah,
they already know that this construction is not going to stop. And I think one of them, when they all meet up, the 5 or 6 of them that are left, is like, look, we're either going to get money and get to leave, or we're going to be kicked out and get no money. So might as well just accept the money.
And it's really sad because it almost feels like a betrayal to the people that do end up leaving. Because one of the couples there were like, we took the money, and everyone else is like, oh my God, you're such a coward or whatever, right? And it's like, it's sad, but I understand like both perspectives. Like, I don't think I could live there either if there's all of this construction happening. And of course there's like pressure for them to leave.
And it really sucks too, because like you said, Muriel is 84 and she's already lived her whole life. And I think she has 2, because she had a son, and then that son had 2 kids. So her oh my God, grandchildren. She talks about them and how like, oh yeah, this is the first year they didn't call me and stuff. And throughout, like,
wasn't it just the grandson, just Jack? I don't think they mentioned the other one, if there is another one.
I thought, oh no, that's the partner. That was the partner. Okay, but yeah, it's just one grandson. But it's weird, or not weird. It's so sad because throughout this whole journey of like Witch Haven slowly becoming this golf course for this rich man, it's Muriel just like reminiscing on old times, like when her grandson used to call her every year, but now he doesn't because in today's age, the older people are no longer treated as antiques, but as trash. Like, that's her view of it. But then she's like, but it's okay because I'm not going to hold them from moving on. But in her mind, it's like, well, how am I supposed to move on? I don't have that many years left. I'm going to die soon. And I don't want to start a new life somewhere. I want to be able to stay in the home that her husband, Billy, built for them. So she's conflicted because the people around her little group of 6, mostly her friend Arthur, who was best friends with Billy, who are supposed to be there and like encourage her, like, yes, we got to stand our ground, are accepting the money. So she feels betrayed. And it's so sad because she's so strong as a character. She stands up for staying in her home. But then like when she's alone at night, she'll have thoughts like, oh, when I go to sleep, I hope I don't wake up tomorrow.
Yeah, it's kind of sad because she's definitely at a mindset where she repeats this over and over again where she's okay, like if she were to die tomorrow. Like she doesn't, like she wants to stand her ground against Patrick Grant, but she's lived a good life. She's content. So she keeps saying like if she were to die the next day, then that would be okay.
And she also makes corrections of people because her last name is Macaulay. And people constantly call her Miss Macaulay because she lives alone. But she's like, no, it's Mrs. I am married to Billy, who died 12 years ago. And it sucks because she says that it doesn't affect her, that she's come to terms with dying and death. But she thinks about it a lot, like in a very unhealthy way. And I really feel for her because I really like her.
Yeah, and it's really sad. This is like one of those like sad books because it's like I feel for her because she's so alone, but she's so determined not to fold for this billionaire. But I just feel so bad for her because she literally has nobody. Like she even mentions that this house is like falling apart. Like there's a spot in the roof where rain just gets in, but it's like she can't get up there, so it's just like a part of her house now. And it just makes me so sad because it's like falling apart and she still like sees so much value in this space. So kind of crazy because like obviously like she could do so much with all of the money that they were going to give her, but there's no money that he could have given her that would be worth leaving.
From what I remember, the money that Arthur was offered, because they only really mentioned his, but I'm guessing hers is the same amount, was $250,000 the first time. But by the end of it, she was offered like 10 times more than that.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fucking money.
Yeah, the lady was like willing. She was like, I knew you were reasonable. But then Muriel was like, bitch, what?
I know, because it was like, tell him to double it, and she's like, got it, and she's all taking out the contract and put it in his fucking ass, and then she like closes the door. Dude, Muriel was that bitch. I fucking loved her.
Yeah.
So I was at this point, I was just like, okay, I'm in, whatever. I feel no certain way about the characters, but I'm invested. But the part that fucking got me was the day where she was just like, I just need a walk. So she decides to go to...
Dude.
What is the place called again?
The cave?
The Rory Caves, I think?
Yeah, I think so. The Rory Cave,
such a fucking scary lore to it, because apparently the guy who was in that cave was like a cannibal and would like eat people and do it in there. But it's like, but it's so important to Witch Haven. And honestly, work. But like, you know, she really likes this place. It's very special to her and to her late husband. So she goes in there and hears someone screaming, and she gets worried because there's just a girl who's naked and is screaming, and who's, I'm going to guess, is in her 20s. And then behind that girl is a guy also in his 20s, fucking dick out and ready, also screaming, running behind her. And you can tell they were like fucking around there. And when he gets closer, and it's so mean because they're not even like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, you know, they're not embarrassed at all. They're just like, who the fuck is that bitch?
What the fuck
that old
are
bitch
you
right
doing
there?
here? And then the girl who you think it needs help, right? She immediately is a bitch to Muriel. She's just like, what are you doing here? He owns the beach. Like, he owns the beach. What are you doing here?
So it turns out the person, the boy, the man, the young teen, the young adult. Oh my God. Hello. Let me try again.
Hello.
It turns out that the guy that was there is Connor Grant, which is Patrick Grant's son. And he is the meanest bitch fucking ever. Dude, all of the rich people who are not from Witch Haven are fucking mean as fuck.
Yeah, they're definitely entitled. So fucking entitled. Anyone who worked for Patrick Grant, also entitled. Oh my God. It's because Patrick Grant doesn't give a fuck, right? He has so much money, so he pays off all of these people to be his little minions, and so they just do whatever he wants. Like, and it's really sad because even other characters like the police officers and such, like they'll make comments like, well, Patrick Grant, like he will do so much for the economy in this town or whatever, like he has so many plans. But like, will he though? Like, it's just a golf course. Come on.
It's a golf course. And I hate it because Connor is same mindset that he owns this place. He owns everything. And he starts beating Muriel up. Like, I think kicks her in the stomach. She falls down. She tries whacking him with her cane. But then he like, I think kicks it away like far enough where she can't reach it. And then he makes a disgusting ass comment.
The reason why is because he's telling her to leave first, and then she starts insulting him. She's just like, "You're a piece of shit, just like your dad."
Yeah,
this girl is so fucking and no, that's why is. Connor. But then no, the girl was the one who instigated it. No, she was like, "Oh, were you gonna let her talk to you like that? What the fuck? Like what?" This girl is not a girl's girl.
Bad though.
Not a girl's girl at all.
They were both bad though, because then Connor was like, "Oh, I bet you're jealous of like this action, but like, you know, I heard that old bitches without teeth give the best head." And it's like, shut the fuck up, Connor. Where the fuck you hear that? Like, that's so inappropriate for you to say. And oh god, fucking infuriated me. But I do want to bring up, there was more than once that this had already happened, but Muriel kind of got an anger issue. Like, she never really shows it like outwardly, because everyone around her always has said that she's just very strong, very kind, very sweet, very loving. But she has thoughts of like killing people, and it's mostly Patrick Grant.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Then she like will think that, and then be like, "Whoa, what would Billy think?" I am not thinking that. That is nope.
She's like,
"Not me, bitch."
She's like, "Reel it back. Hold on."
I know.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because I think especially with her age, being alone, and then everyone trying to freaking like take her out of her own home, I think it just has like made her anger more intense. And she does have moments where she's like, "Oh, I shouldn't be thinking that. Like, I shouldn't. Like, whoa, that was crazy." But you know, she has those moments where she fucking hates Patrick Grant, but also like, who wouldn't? He's a piece of shit.
Yep. She ends up being left there by Connor and the girl. And one of her last thoughts before she like loses consciousness, because she's there for a while, is just that she hopes that this is what kills her. But then someone appears.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I feel like, Cheli, you could tell this whole story on your own.
Dude,
I'm not even here. I'm not even here.
Okay. Well, I just want to say, it's like a meet cute. I don't know. Is that pushing it?
Oh my god.
I'm just kidding.
You're gonna give the wrong impression. This is definitely not a meet cute.
We get introduced to the creature that's in the front of the book, the one with the eyeball in its mouth. And it's just kind of a blob that's
it's kind of like slime. You ever played with slime before? It's kind of like that.
Thank you. Oh, dude, the visuals immaculate. So it's just slime, and it's like different colors at some point. So at first it was like iridescent, and then it like turned green and blue, and she's just so like confused at first. She comes up to it and is like, "What are you?" You know, it looks like a creature that's dying. And so
but also
then,
like she hears it calling to her, like she hears her name.
She reaches out for it, and I think it wraps themselves around her arm, and she gets healed, because remember she was very badly beat by Connor Grant, and all of a sudden everything that hurt before didn't hurt anymore. But it was like,
she's over here sprinting, dude. She's like, "You know what? I will be right back, my little blob friend." And she starts running to her house, dude. And wind in her hair. She's like, "What the?"
You know, this walk that usually takes me 20 minutes took me 5 minutes. But honestly, bitch, it could have taken her 1 minute, but she stopped and did 800 push-ups. It was crazy. She just so fucking fit.
She just started doing some curl-ups too. She was like, oh my God.
And she saved children from a burning building. I know, it was crazy. That bitch is so agile. Fucking Arthur, her like old ass friend, is like, work, Muriel. Oh my gosh. It's funny. You know how like, I don't know if your family's the same, but the older people in your family will be like, you see, that's because you started Herbalife. Like, you know, it'll be like that type of shit.
Oh my God. Yeah.
She started drinking her tecitos. I know. This bitch drinking her tea.
Oh my God. It's funny because she was just like, she had her superhero moment at this time.
She did.
But
it's crazy because it even describes like, not only did I get healed, but the aches, the body aches that come with age were just gone. Like she didn't feel them anymore. So it kind of like, I don't know if this is the right term, but it like de-aged her a bit.
Yeah, and it was really sad too because she was like, she described it as you were so used to the aches that when they were gone, you didn't even remember like what feeling was like anymore without this pain. Damn. I really felt for her there too.
So she goes back and she grabs something, the wheelbarrow, right? To put the slime in.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's huge. I thought it was just like a cup's worth.
So because it wrapped itself around her, it obviously fed on like the blood or whatever. And so I think it grew, right? That's how I took it. Because when she first described it, I thought it was tiny too.
So I was really confused when it would be like,
unless it's like it's a really small wheelbarrow.
Can you imagine? Because you know how wheel. Oh my God, you have me crying. You know how wheelbarrows have the sticks you hold? Can you imagine if it's just like all stick and one little cup worth of a wheelbarrow at the very end? Fucking Muriel, Olympic running with that shit. I'm gonna get him.
Oh my God. Hey, she's young now. You know, she could do it. She could run with
anything. Bitch fucking doing front flips before she gets back to the cave. So she arrives, like she does her 4 front flips, lands it, and she like, you know, when Olympic or gymnastics, when the gymnast puts their hands up, like, done. So she does that. Picks up
and the little slime gives her a 10. Just like
I can't.
Oh my God, stop. You have me crying over here. Oh
okay, so she takes the slime home, which I'm guessing it's a big amount, but it's shriveled up. And she's like, this thing is dying. So what she does is she fills up the bathtub with water and just kind of throws the slime on top, hoping that, you know, it'll like, I guess, moisturize it. Because I think that's what I would do too. Like, this bitch dry, I'm gonna put it in water. So she puts it in there and like leaves it, I think. And then I don't remember why, but she sits with it, doesn't she?
Doesn't she like go to bed? Yeah, she goes to bed, and as she's like falling asleep, she hears Billy's voice say, "I love you," and then she goes to sleep.
Yeah. And so then when she wakes up the next day, she goes to the bathtub and realizes that like the water's half down, meaning that this thing has been drinking the water. So she refills it. And Arthur visits her, I believe.
Well, at this moment, she's trying to figure out what to name this thing. And I think that's when she decides to name it Avalon, right?
After a singer, which I didn't get a chance to look up. I hope the music relates to the name. But she names it Avalon, and I think it wraps itself around her because she tries petting it, and she starts to feel like a pressure in her hand. So it's like squeezing too tightly.
Yeah, and it causes her to bleed.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, that's when her friend Arthur visits, and she's kind of like panicking because she's like, she doesn't want him to see Avalon. But eventually she does go to the door because Arthur's like, girl, if you don't open this door, I'm going to kick it down.
Yeah.
Of course, he's probably thinking like, oh my God, what if she fell or something?
Mm-hmm. And she also never locks her door, but she has been recently because of these Grant Corporation people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But she talks to him for a bit, and he's just like, I'm just worried for you. All of this is happening. I think if I remember correctly, Arthur had just came back from being arrested for like threatening.
No, he gets arrested after this moment.
Okay. Oh, then he just came to check up on her to see how she was doing. And then he ends up getting kicked out by her because she hears like movement in the bathtub. And it's funny because Arthur's like, oh my God, Muriel, you? Who do you got in there? Like,
dirty girl.
I knew when you started Herbalife, this shit was going to happen. So
no, because he says like, there's a certain glow to you. What the fuck?
And it's cute because I don't remember if it was in this chapter, but I'm just going to mention it. He does. It's really sweet that Arthur notices little things about her. Like just that she looks different. She looks happier. She looks more energetic. Like he's very attentive.
It makes me sad. It makes me really sad for him. Like I feel for him.
I know. So then
I'm gonna start crying. I'm literally gonna start crying.
So then he gets kicked out because Muriel hears a lot of commotion in the bathroom and she's scared that this thing is going to leave. And so she goes back and she notices even when Arthur's there, it's talking, but it's only talking to her. Like Arthur can't hear it. No one else can hear it because they're kind of talking like through their minds, I guess. And this thing keeps repeating that it's hungry and she doesn't really know what to do about that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to speed forward to Arthur's chapter because he's my boy. Dude, it's so I really like it didn't need to be in the story, but I really like the beginning of Arthur's chapter where he's describing like he's waiting outside and he's like, okay, there's a lot of noise. And then it hits 12 exactly. And it's as if like the machines are resetting or they're switching shifts. That's what it was.
Yeah.
So everything turns off because the new workers are going to replace the old workers. And he quickly like grabs a cigarette, lights it, and then just starts smoking it. And is like, oh my God, the quiet. And just enjoys that like few minutes of silence before the machines turn on again. Dude, that's so sad.
It makes me really sad. I think that was definitely necessary though, because I'm sure these noises are fucking driving them crazy. So that little moment of just silence, it must be just so therapeutic.
It reminds me, I don't know, it makes me sad when older people in families are left alone because they do things like this. Like I saw a video once. I don't know why it reminded me of this, but it's the video of that one old lady who they had like a camera in her house to see like what she did all day. And she like got her mail and all she did all day was cut the like junk mail into like little squares and then just put it in a box. And that was all she did the whole day.
Damn.
Like, fuck. It makes me sad because like, you know, they portray like, there are things that people do that are like that. And it's like, wow, that's really sad. But then in this story, it's like, yeah, it's sad, but you have to realize that these people have like lived their lives and all they want is the comfort of their home. And that's being taken from them. And it really hits in that moment that he was just trying to enjoy that.
And I like that moment when, you know, after he's done with his cigarette, he's like, I can't fall asleep with this cigarette on because Muriel told me that I shouldn't. That's a fire hazard. So he puts it out. And then he also confesses to us, the readers, that he's always had a thing for her.
I fucking knew it. I fucking knew it.
I fucking knew it. He loves Muriel, but Muriel ended up falling in love with Arthur's best friend, Billy.
Mm-hmm. And I was kind of hoping when that reveal was made to us, first of all, thank you for trusting me, author. I won't tell anyone, I swear.
I won't tell anyone.
Secret safe with me, Arthur. But like, I was hoping that because he did that, Arthur was going to become like the person who would help Muriel fight this creature. Like, I thought that's what it was leading up to. So I was really disappointed.
Definitely not.
When this chapter came to its end, which was Arthur at his house, and he heard a bunch of teenagers outside. And so he grabs his weapon, which is a knife, I think. And these teenagers basically came to burn his house down. And he was just like, I don't know. I don't remember the way it completely went. But I know that they were pouring gasoline all over the front of his house. And when they lighted it, the fire just got to him. Like, it reached him, and it described his like body bubbling, boiling. He could feel his skin.
Before that, he still had the knife in his hand, and all he remembered was that he like charged for someone and he hit something. But at this point,
he wasn't going to though. Remember, because he was like, "I need to get to water," and then someone was like, "Look at that old bitch," and then Arthur turns around. He's like, like, I'm gonna try to stab this bitch. I love that moment. I love that he ended with spite. Oh gosh, but yeah, he ends up stabbing. But it's
so sad.
It is really sad.
Yeah, well, let's just move a little bit faster. He does end up stabbing one of the three. And then it goes into Muriel's perspective, and she sees the house burning. She runs over there. As she runs towards Arthur's house, the third teen, the one that's the third teenager, the one who's stabbed, is like crawling towards Muriel's house because that's the nearest home to Arthur's. Because he's thinking like, oh, I gotta nurse myself back to life because he needs a cut from Patrick Grant's money. So he goes to this house, and this little Avalon, the creature, is always hungry. Oh my God. He's just starving all the time. It's like your cats, Cheli. They're always hungry.
Thank you.
And so this teenager is in Muriel's house trying to find something. And then Avalon pretty much eats him up. It's really gory, actually. I had to like kind of skim a little bit because I was like, ew, I don't need to read that part.
My favorite line from that part.
Oh God, go ahead. Do you want me to read the line?
Do you have it?
Yeah. It says, as last words went, they may not have been profound, but they were certainly appropriate.
Dude, I fucking love that. That's so fucking funny that was the last thing he said, because he basically watched his penis disintegrate. Which honestly, that's fucking wild.
That's crazy, yeah.
But Muriel wasn't there at the time because of the fire, and she went to go check on Arthur. And it sucks because when she went over there, and she basically said like, the Grant Corporation, they're planning this, like they're killing us because we don't want to leave. And she was telling this to the police, and they were like, all right. It's like, well, aren't you going to write that down? And we're like, no.
He's like,
well, they said, no, we're not, because you're one of the bad ones. Like, we know who you are. You're the troublemakers. And it's so sad because she's basically like, okay, I'm leaving. My friend died and you guys aren't listening to me, and I'm leaving. And she goes home. That's so fucking sad.
Yeah, it is. I feel so bad for her because I feel like nobody cares. Everyone values this billionaire so much more than her. And so they don't care, the fact that she knows. And obviously, of course, Arthur didn't want to sell his home either. So obviously, hello. And she insults the officers too. She's like, it doesn't take that many brain cells to figure out that it's Patrick's doing, because he wants all of their homes.
And it sucks because all of this is going on, but Patrick hasn't even made the time to go over to Witch Haven.
Yeah. Not yet, anyway.
And I think the kids that burned down Arthur's house, this is the first time in the book of an instance of people being paid to do a horrible thing because Patrick really wants his golf course.
He wants a golf course.
He wants a little golf course. It's a mini golf course.
Wait, that sounds
sick.
It
only takes up like a little section. He's like, oh, I guess I didn't have to kill everyone to get here. Oh. Sorry, guys. Guess I overestimated.
Don't old people love golf courses? Wouldn't he want to keep them there? I don't know. Just a thought.
Freaking Muriel's like, wait a minute. This shit kind of fun.
I was getting bored out here. Bowling alley next, guys. Bowling next.
How much space do you think that's gonna take? Like maybe 600 by 600 miles? I don't know. You're just like way overestimating it. When Muriel goes home, that shit, dude, Avalon, he ate. He really ate because the blood of the kid who was there is all over like the room. And she is like, she understands, right? That Avalon is the one that ate.
Yeah. But it's kind of sad because Avalon has kind of shifted into Billy's image at this point. And so she's looking at Billy and she's just like, oh my God, wait, you're back home. But she knows it's Avalon because there's like little things that Avalon does that tells her, oh, this isn't my Billy. But I think she just wants to kind of live in this fantasy that her husband finally came home.
And can I say something that we kind of missed? The first time Arthur came over and Avalon was barely in the house, he had already used Billy's voice. And there was this one quote by Muriel that said what she would give to spend one more day with him, one last perfect day. She would do anything to hold him one more time. And then you turn the page and the only word on the page is anything. And I thought that was fucking wild. So when she goes home and there's all this blood and she finally sees like her husband who has been missing for 12 years, she's just completely like blown away.
It's really sad though.
It really sucks
like really
because
sad.
She goes to Billy and she says, I missed you so much. And he says, I missed you too. And to herself, she thinks, is that Billy or Avalon talking? But in that one moment of perfect happiness, Muriel didn't care. What difference did it make? Billy was here and he was home. It really sucks that this is kind of what the story became. Because after him being present and in front of her, I kind of knew she was going to spiral. And she was so level-headed at the beginning of the story that it kind of disappointed me how quickly she spiraled.
But I feel like it makes sense though, because I mean, she's older and this is everything that she's ever wanted. Like she never got to say goodbye to Billy. I feel like that would really mess someone up to see someone who they loved and never got to say goodbye to. And then you finally have this moment of kind of saying your goodbyes, but also living in this fantasy of like, oh, well, we could, this is like us reuniting, right? But in the back of her mind, she knows it's not Billy. So I felt a lot of sympathy for her, definitely, or empathy. I felt really bad for her.
It's really, you can see when her mind really switches because at the first time that Avalon becomes Billy, she refers to him as Avalon. Like when he's speaking, it'll say Avalon. And then like halfway through it started to say Avalon-Billy or Billy-Avalon. And then it just became Billy. Like its name just became Billy. So it was a progression. I thought it happened really quick. I mean, this is a really short book and we are like already halfway through it. But when I think it's when she's talking to Billy Avalon the first time, he basically, there's still blood everywhere. And he's just kind of like, oh yeah, that was the boy I ate. His name was Tommy Bowden. I ate him because he killed Arthur. Or no, I ate him and he killed Arthur. So he just ate him because he was hungry. But then it's revealed at this point that anything he takes
Consumes.
blood from, he can see all of their memories. So that's the reason that he's able to morph into Billy, because it was in Muriel's memories. It's so funny because she starts cleaning, but she doesn't get to finish because I think Avalon comes out, they dress Avalon up, and then he just goes like, come on, I want to take my new body for a walk. And then they go for a walk. But then I started thinking, did Muriel never finish cleaning the blood that was like all over her house? Is it just like that for the rest of the story?
I don't think she did. No, I mean, she had to have cleaned it eventually. No, because remember Avalon then kills the construction workers?
Yeah, but doesn't she make a comment like, oh, thank God I didn't fucking clean, because that would have been
something like that. Something like that. Like, oh, good thing I didn't finish cleaning then. So I'm assuming she cleaned after that.
I don't think she ever does, because I even think the lady from the beginning, when she comes in, she's just like, oh, well, they're all kind of like, why is there so much blood in here? Aren't they?
No, they never mentioned blood. If they would have mentioned blood, I feel like she would have been committed a long time ago.
Yeah, probably. Okay. I just thought they never cleaned. I'm glad she did. So her and Avalon end up going to Rory's cave, and they just start talking. And Avalon, who is still in Billy's form, is just kind of like, yeah, I'm just kind of a creature, you know, I just exist. Time and age means nothing to me because I never die unless I don't eat. And I used to have another one of me. Like, I know there's more that exist because I used to have one that was with me. And then she was like a girlfriend. I was like, yeah, I mean, I guess that's what you would call it. It was like, well, it would be something that you're in love with. And then he was like, well, yes, then, because I did that feeling of love that you're describing is what I felt towards this thing. So he had a fling.
Yeah.
Love when
if I was Muriel, I would have been like, let me fuck that bitch up. Where is she?
It's fucking a cup of slime and she starts beating it up. Yeah, bitch. Got nothing to say now, huh? She like puts too much, what is it? You know, the thing that makes the slime, the liquid? She like puts too much and it hardens. She's like, sorry, bitch. Don't be slime next time.
Oh my God. Wait, no, I remember now. So she doesn't clean up. And then the boys come in again. The teenagers that burned down Arthur's home, they show up because they want to like fake her death or something. Well, they can't burn the house because then that would be, you know, too obvious.
Suspicious.
So yeah, they see all of the blood everywhere and they're like, what the fuck? And so they're trying to convince her, or they're trying to force her to like hang herself. And she's like, oh yeah, where am I supposed to hang from? And the guys look around and they're like, fuck, I didn't think this through. They're like, wait a minute. This bitch has no ceiling. I'm just kidding. She does,
I know.
But it's like, wait,
what the fuck? We're outside.
Imagine. It's just like, there's nothing up here.
So, yeah, they end up going to the bathroom. But before that, I just want to say, like, the scene right before that, the whole Rory's cave where Avalon is talking to Muriel in Billy's form, he ends up turning back. And it's like a super disturbing way to turn back because Billy's face basically flattens. It becomes blank and the only thing left there is an eyeball, and it just slowly goes back to its slime state. And then she figures out that in order for him to stay as Billy, he needs to eat. And because he wasn't eating, so then she comes up with like okay, I'm going to give you stuff to eat, but like, I'll figure it out. And in her mind, she's like, I wonder if cow's blood will work, or like animal blood, anything with protein. So in her mind, she wasn't going to kill anyone at this point. It isn't until those teenagers show up in her house and want her to pretend or fake her death. And then the only thing she can hang herself from is the bathroom like pole that holds the curtain. So they go in there, right? Oh, no. They go in there. They go in there because she has pills. And she was going to fake her death like that.
Well, she mentioned the pills, but she was like, I don't have enough, but I'm willing to like slit my wrists. And the guy is like, what the fuck? And so she has a knife and she goes into the bathroom because she makes a comment like it would look better on the floor that way. I don't know. And
dude,
so that's
it's so funny that she's over here like fucking saying the play-by-play of her own death. And at one point, I think they were like, hurry up. And she's like, bitch, I'm trying. Like, I'm trying over here. But she has like no fear. And at this point, I don't think she even considered that Avalon would save her. She was just okay with it, right?
No, she knew that Avalon would be fed by her blood.
Oh, okay. I get it. Because at first I was like, damn, she's really just going for it, not having seen him like jump out of the tub before. But he does end up getting fed, and then he eats one of the kids and becomes Billy, right? And then eats the rest of the kids, and I think one of them gets shot.
I don't really remember how it plays out, but something like that.
But he eats 3 kids, basically. And he like makes a joke that he had like a 3-course meal. And that's like his thing. Like he's trying to make jokes and then he'll be like, was that a good one? You get it? Because like humans say 3-course meals. It's like, yeah, I get it. You're hilarious.
I get it. Shut up.
But then it gets weird because like then there is like no differentiation between Billy and Avalon. And it just becomes Billy. And so when they're at Rory's cave one day, she's like thinking to herself, oh no, I don't think it's at the cave. I think it's at home first. No, it was at the cave when they kiss and she starts to see Avalon's memories, and it's very grotesque, like people dying in sea and like a baby that's being eaten by termites. Like it's a very disgusting thing. And she pulls away and she was like, what the fuck was that? And Avalon was like, that's me, bitch. That's me. Work, right, Muriel? That's what we always say. That's our thing. But she gets very disgusted by it. And he says, like, that's just the way it is. Like, I don't know what to tell you. And then because they spend time apart, she like slowly forgets like what she had seen. So she starts questioning it herself and going like, has he done bad things? And should I be scared of him or something like that? And then that chapter ends with like a line that's like, well, it doesn't even matter if he did bad things. Like she's kind of okay with it because at least it's still Billy. But I don't know. Does she start believing that Billy's alive?
Yeah, because doesn't she even make a comment where it's like, oh, you don't have a heartbeat? Like shocked for some reason. And he's like, I've never had a heartbeat. And she's like, sorry, when you did have a heartbeat. You know, like she makes comments like, oh, well, not now, but before this.
And then Avalon would say,
I just think she's kind of like living in this fantasy and just accepting it, you know?
Yeah, she does. Because Avalon would say things that would sound like Avalon. And then she would be like, no, don't say that. Billy wouldn't say that. You know, so then
that's not how Billy would say it.
Yeah, he became Billy. So he started introducing himself as Billy. And then when they're in Rory's cave again, she's just kind of wondering like, oh, I wonder if the passion is still there. But she doesn't want to do anything about it because she's so old. But then Avalon turns her young again. And they make love. The sea creature.
Oh my God. Ew.
Dude, I knew it. I knew love was real. I'm kind of glad.
I feel like we're talking about the story a little too much. We should summarize the ending. But what are you glad about?
Well, okay, I'll get to the end. First of all, work. I'm glad they did that. Glad that she didn't fuck him while he was a creature and slime, because that's weird. But
what if he would have become slime? Mid thrust.
You made yourself dry. Dude, if that had happened and Muriel was just like just because it doesn't talk when it's slime. She'd just be like, what the fuck? Her bucking.
Well, no, she can still hear it. Remember when it would call to her?
Yeah, but it's
when
very
it was still slime.
But it's very like spaced out. It doesn't just happen. So, yeah, I think that would suck. I'm glad that he stayed the whole way through, though. King.
Damn.
But basically, at the end of this story, the lady from the beginning who came and offered Muriel money, turns out her name is Cheli, and she's like an assistant to Patrick Grant, ends up coming to Muriel's home with Patrick Grant because she had came beforehand and basically saw Muriel running with slime and being like, babe, to the slime. And it was like, oh, this bitch crazy. So they all come to Muriel's house and Patrick is like, the press is going to be here in like a few minutes. So you need to give up your home and, we're going to press charges because you're violent and senile and whatever. And she's just kind of like, oh, I get it. But can you just let this old bad bitch take a piss one more time? Just one more time. And then they're kind of like, okay, whatever, do whatever the fuck you want, but Cheli has to go in and watch you. And then that's when all fucking hell breaks loose because Cheli gets pushed and then she starts bleeding out and that feeds Avalon and then Avalon becomes a naked Billy and then that bitch starts fighting and Muriel gets shot and like it's a lot. Okay.
Yeah,
a lot of shit happens. But the thing that gets me the most, because this is all being filmed live for the news from the outside and all they can hear is gunshots and screaming and commotion. And then while Patrick Grant is literally about to die, Muriel hears the phone ring and is like, be back, bitches. Don't go killing without me. And she goes to walk to the phone and it's her grandson, Jack, who is just kind of like, what's happening? Like, I'm watching you on the news. What's happening? Are you okay? Just go outside. It's like,
Grandma, you're trending on Twitter. What's going on?
You don't even know what Twitter is, do you, Grandma?
Do you know what Twitter is, Grandma? R.I.P. the bird.
She's just like, I know I'm on El Face. I know it.
El Face? Oh my God, not El Face.
Facebook Live. But she basically tells him like, I'm with Billy. Remember your grandpa? And it's like, grandpa died so long ago. Like, you need to go outside and let them take you. This is not worth it. And she was like, well, I just want you to know that he came back. I'm not crazy. You're about to see a lot of shit go on. Stuff go on. And I just want you to know that anytime you have someone in your life, you should say, I love you to them as many times as you can, because you never know when it's going to be the last time. And then she hangs up and basically, she goes, cause I think, Avalon had basically said that he had killed that amount of people in the past before and he was willing to do it again, but Muriel was against it.
He's like, babe, I could kill all these people, all the people who viewed the video. I could kill all of them. And she's
bitches
like,
that made the phones, everyone, bitch. Sorry, Muriel.
Everyone.
Queen. But like, she basically says that she doesn't want that to happen and it should be the end. Like she's had a good run. She's glad that Billy came back, but she's ready to say goodbye. So they convince Patrick to take the wheelbarrow, which I think has Avalon in it, right? As slime.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
It's Avalon, Patrick pushing Avalon, and Muriel walking to Rory's cave. Patrick screams out because he's forced to not follow them. And when they're in there, Muriel's like getting ready. I think she shoots Patrick. And Patrick's skull just flies off. And she's just ready to say goodbye. And Billy pops up one more time.
Wait. I just want to make a comment. So they're in the cave, right, at this moment. And Patrick, before his skull flew off, I love that moment where he keeps trying to tell her, like, I'll give you this much money. this much money. It's like all crazy amounts. And she's like, no. And he's just like muttering to himself, she doesn't want $43 million. Who doesn't want $43 million? Like, he's just so in shock that she cannot be bought. It's so funny.
I know, dude. Oh my God. That man literally died still thinking about money though. And
yeah.
She's basically saying goodbye to Avalon. And you can hear like the copters and like all the people like coming into Rory's cave going towards Rory's cave. And then Avalon's like, well, what if there's another way? Like, what if we can do something else to get you out of this? What if we go into the ocean together? Haven't you always wanted to travel the ocean? And she's just like,
not really.
Down.
No, not really.
Down, bitch. Hell yeah. So all of a sudden, this is like just now happening. Something that he had just never mentioned before. You know, you can go in the water with me. We can become one. So it like cuts to the next chapter, and Patrick Grant, butt ass naked, is walking out of the Rory's cave. And he just starts walking towards the water, right? Well, no, he kills his son.
Yeah, he kills his son first.
Very brutally, because, you know, that bitch was supposed to be grounded. Why is he outside? And then he just walks into the water. And the last thing he says before he walks into the water
is, "What up, Jack? Love ya."
He says,
"Love ya, bitch."
He says, "Goodbye.
I'm never gonna stop loving you, bitch."
Bitch. He says, "Goodbye, Jack, and remember your promise. I love you." And it's funny because I circled that part because I had completely forgotten. I thought for some reason Patrick didn't die. His skull still intact. So I circled that and I wrote, "Who the fuck is Jack? Is this a Titanic reference?"
Oh my God.
But then it hit me because the last chapter, or no, second to last chapter, it basically says that like everyone online, this became like the most viewed video of what was going on. And everyone was really confused with the ending. And Jack Macaulay, who had heard his grandmother's words leave the lips of Patrick Grant directly addressed to him, you know, he basically knew. And it like that kid died at age 73 in an automobile accident. He took his secret to the grave, meaning he never told anyone that that was his grandma. But yeah. And then it ends with like talking about Ben Macaulay, who is Jack's husband. But it's like, yeah, Jack kept his promise and told him that he loved him every single day. And Muriel is 84 years young. She says goodbye to herself, I think. And then she just lives with Billy, but Avalon, in the ocean forever. The end.
The end. Love a good happy ending, you know? Love that.
I hate that she only fucked the slime once.
God, that poor man was exhausted. Didn't he need like a 4-day rest after that? He was like, damn, don't ever touch me again, Muriel.
I don't know. I just, you know, I mean, not because I wanted to like be a part of that, but like,
but you
maybe
did.
like a few
You
other
did.
times. Yeah. He could have eaten more people.
Oh my God.
Dude, this story was fucking crazy.
I know. Seriously, I had no idea what to expect with this story. But when it turned into a freaking monster romance, I was like, oh yeah. What the fuck?
I kind of hate, though, that she just lost her mind by the end of it. Like, she was so certain that Avalon was Billy. I really wanted I don't know. Like I said, I wanted Arthur to still be alive and to be with Muriel while she was going with this. Because I thought when Avalon's memories were like revealed to her that one time, I thought he was going to let it slip that he was the reason Billy went missing and he ate Billy. Like, that's what I thought it was going to do.
Damn, that would have been sick. I kind of agree with you. I wish that like Billy's death was you know, like, did he actually die? Like, what happened to Billy?
I wanted an answer to that. And I hate that there wasn't. I hate that it's kind of like we have to believe that's Billy. But I don't. That's fucking Avalon. That's his name. Don't
I
wear it
know
out.
Avalon. Avalon's a slimy bitch. I know them.
It would have been good. Well, to me, because, you know, I just wanted this bitch to end in action, just like how she started. I wanted that to be the big reveal so that at the end, when Avalon Billy is like over here like, fuck you, Muriel. She's over here with like a fucking shotgun and she's like, goodbye, Billy. Bah! You know, like, that's what I wanted. I didn't get it.
Uh-huh.
How dare they? Wasted opportunity. I really like that it reminds me of The Thing, though. Just like a thing that you're scared of that's hurting people, that people don't understand. I love that idea. The Thing is a very important movie in my life. So shout out to that movie. But overall, I thought this was a very interesting read. It was very short, and I'm surprised that they got so much fucking the Haar lore in 200 pages.
I kind of felt like, I don't know, because Cheli and I are on a bit of a time crunch, so I kind of felt like it was longer than the other ones, at least. Yeah, it felt long to me.
I felt like I read this so quick. It was over right when I started. Like, it was so quick for me to read. I think it's because I enjoyed it. You're right.
I know. I'm not shocked.
I wrote a thing at the end here. Let me read it to you. This is my overall. I put welcome to my TED Talk about how this story blew my mind. I am in shock about how wild this was. Honestly, seems like it'd be a great A24 movie. God, the whole Jack moment caught me off guard, but it meant so fucking much to me. So much for spooks, though. Muri really out here going and fucking some slime. What a fucking queen. She also killed a man. Queen for that. And then I put 3.8 out of 5.
Wow, really? Okay.
It's a 3.8 only because I didn't want Arthur to leave. Like, I wanted him to still be part of the story, and it ended too quick for him.
But, like, when you put it on Goodreads, it's a 4, right? So I guess
it's going to be a 4.
Oh, thank God. Thank God. I can breathe easy now.
What do you think?
So I actually did enjoy the story. I felt like, I don't know, while I was reading, especially in the beginning, I just felt so bad for Muriel because she was so alone. I just felt so connected to her character, and it made me really sad when it would mention like, oh, that she's just ready. You know, if death were to come today, tomorrow, the next day, like she's ready. And I don't know. And also that part with Jack in the beginning where she mentions like, Jack used to call me every day, but now, oh no, not every day, sorry, once a year, but now it's like not really anymore. But that's okay because that's how people grow up, right? They have to live their own lives. And it's like, damn, it just makes me so sad because then you start thinking about like, who have I not called? You know, who have I not reached out to in a minute? And it just makes me so, I don't know. I feel really bad for Muriel, but I did really love her character. I felt like she was very headstrong. When the slime was introduced, I was very grossed out, but, I don't know. I did really enjoy it. I did like those moments between them. I do kind of like that she eventually just accepted that this was Billy because to me it makes sense because she was so lonely. I think that even I would be like, you know what? Yeah, this is Billy. Even if she would have seen Billy die, I feel like it would make sense to me if she would be like, yeah, this is Billy. You know what? Wait, side note. Do you remember that one YouTube short horror film where she lost her son and then she gets like a doll that looks just like her son or like is dressed like her son and she just starts treating it like it's her son? Mm-hmm. Do you remember that one?
Yep.
Dude, that makes me so sad. Stuff like that just makes me so fucking sad.
I didn't want her to accept it, but I get what you mean. It kind of like, it makes sense to what happened in the story because she never really got to heal after Billy's death.
Yeah, especially because they never had, you know, their goodbye, or she never got to say goodbye to him. But anyway, overall, I did really enjoy the story. I feel like I would definitely recommend it. I give it like a 3 though. I think a 3 is good. Because I
Why
wouldn't
not a
die
5?
for this. I wouldn't die for the story. But I did really enjoy it.
Because there was like not enough slime sex or like too much.
I think after that slime sex, it actually did lose a star. It would have been a 4.
I was waiting for him to turn to slime right in the middle of it, but he didn't. So how dare they?
It was at a 4, but then when they had sex, I was like, 3.
Mm-hmm. I get it. It's not for everyone.
I'm kidding. No, it was good. It was a good book. I enjoyed the read.
Dude, we talked about this book longer than it took me to read it.
Yeah, literally, same. What the fuck?
Thank you, everyone who is listening to our episode, whether that be in audio form, like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or anywhere you get your podcasts on. Thank you so much. If you can leave a rating of 5 stars and a review, maybe a recommendation for the next books we're going to read. We already planned out all of our books for spooky season, so please give us romance because I miss it. If you want to also help us with getting more viewership, the best type of exposure is through word of mouth. So if you could tell any of your slime friends about us, probably be amazing.
That would be sick.
If you have like a little bit of extra money, like $5, what's something they can do, Yajaira?
So we did make a Patreon, and at the moment, it really just serves as a way for our listeners to let us know that you really enjoy what we do here. I feel like we go pretty in depth with some of these stories. So if you just want to show us a little extra love, you can find us on patreon.com/bookfix.
And if you are watching us on YouTube, thank you so much. You can like, comment. If you can like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We post every Tuesday and Thursday. Thank you so much. We still got a couple spooky books to go. So we will see you in the next spooky one. Bye. Dude, on the spookometer, out of 5, how spooked were you for this one?
Dude, oh my God, I love you so much. I literally love you. You are my soulmate. I knew it. I was literally thinking that in the shower today. I was like, okay, I feel like we should implement something during spooky season. Like for every book, we should have said like, how spooked were we? In the last batch, I would say the one that spooked me the most was Hidden Pictures. Let me look at it.
Yeah, because you actually read it and there were pictures in it.
Yeah, Hidden Pictures spooked me the most. This one wasn't that spooky to me. I feel like out of 5 in this spookometer, I think I would be at like a 2.
Yeah, I think for this one personally, the spookometer was 1 because I really did fall in love with that slime. For our last batch, I think the one that really spooked me was this one, You Ain't Dying Tonight. You're not supposed to die tonight.
You're not supposed to die tonight.
That one spooked me just because of the ending, the way it ended.
Okay.
But yeah, okay. Next time we'll throw the spookometer in the episode.
Yeah, wait, hold on. On the spookometer, where was Nothing But Blackened Teeth?
Oh, that was a fucking 0. That shit did not kill me. Sorry.
What about Night Shift?
A 1.
Yeah, I would agree with you on both. Well, I feel like there has to be. So Nothing But Blackened Teeth and Night Shift can be like a 1.
I will say, though, that in this current batch, there is one that got to me. So,
can't wait.